There's a topic I thought I'd record and talk about sooner on this channel, but it's just happening now. So as many of you know, I talk about photography and videography for events mainly, and just a few other things as well. The one question I've never really answered is what's the best aperture for photo and video for events? So just a few notes / disclaimers before I really get into it. Obviously, many people will have a different setting. Someone will have something that's higher or lower. Someone will have something that's different. And for me, and what I've really experienced that works well and gives me the most chances for success. It will always change. It'll always be different depending on context. So just keep that in mind when you watch the rest of this video. So I have been subject to doing a lot of stuff. So earlier in my career, I used to make this mistake a lot more, where I would only use like f1.8 or f2.8 and just basically go with the most shallow depth of field. And the problem with recording at a shallow depth of field is that you are making it much easier for yourself to miss a shot or things will go out of focus, especially for someone who uses autofocus a lot, because events, you can't really focus on stuff happening all the time. You are having to use autofocus a lot more, rely on it a lot more, because things are just happening and you have to really adjust much quicker than, doing the sharp focus and allowing yourself to manual focus on all these things. So that being said, the answer, in my opinion, to shoot at the best aperture, to give you the most balance for having a shot of the field reasonably and also having a lot better chances of not missing focus, is between f3.2 and maybe around 4.5, even pushing it to maybe f5 sometimes here and there. Why this is good for both photo and video is because there is usually a lot happening. The difference between that, in my opinion, is not that big. And the biggest thing is that you are allowing your shallow depth of field to be a lot bigger. Because with things happening on events, like people, having expressions or doing different things around, maybe like a bride and groom or someone's talking on stage, you don't necessarily want to have things out of focus all the time. It looks cool in certain shots, it looks good in certain scenarios, but honestly speaking, it's just making you more likely to just make mistakes. And it's something that is a lot harder to fix if you mess it up in camera compared to the other way around. Now with like Lightroom and other things where you can actually include lens blur, or if you know how to do Photoshop, you can even kind of make it like a distance blur thing where you can actually kind of fake the lens blur. That is something that I recommend doing more because it is allowing you to give that flexibility. It's like I mentioned in some other videos where I talk about lens filters like black mist and other things, where you are breaking something into the footage or into the photo, and it's much harder to take it out and deal with it that way compared to adding it in, because there's ways to add it in artificially. It may not be as good sometimes, but at least it doesn't mean you have that one thing only on there. Imagine it's like a star filter, and that star filter is on all the lights on like a street scene, and you want to remove this. It's a lot harder to remove unless you know what you're doing. And even if you do remove the AI and stuff, I think it looks much cleaner if it's more natural. So that's essentially what I think many should do. And especially if you have light and if you have things around you that's able to help with the focusing, it'll be much better. It'll be much easier to achieve better photos and video because your camera's not having to struggle a lot more. Will you have less light when you go to like 3.5 to 5? Yes, you probably will. But at the same time, you are allowing yourself to make mistakes a lot easier, and you're not, making something happen where it is potentially not going to be recoverable. Last example I'm going to give you is, imagine you're taking a video or a photo of like a first kiss or a first look. You do that shot of the field and you miss that shot. That is something that's not going to be cool with the bride and groom. It's not going to be fun to deal with later on. But you have it open, you're good. Everything happens, and majority of the time you're going to get that shot. But generally speaking, you want to be over 1/60. But generally you want to be 1/60 for most things at least. But I almost recommend going to 1/100 or 1/200 just to allow yourself to also get things in focus, not blurry and awkward. But that's just a bit above a bonus who stayed in this video for this long. So essentially, I think that's what's the best setting that you should use. Be sure to let me know your opinions in the comments down below, or let me know on Instagram. Do let me know your opinions in the comments down below. And if you want to see another cool video, be sure to look at this one over here or check out the channel right over here. I'm really, really thankful for all of you watching. I really do appreciate it. And for those who are here early, you're getting stuff that people may not have seen or may not talk about nearly as much. So you're ahead of the curve, and I really hope you're along as this channel grows. And if you want to hit me up on Instagram at all, be sure to look over here or over here. It'll be somewhere there. I'm always available to talk or just to chill even. And thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next video. Peace.